thing that I wanted to bring up, of course, going back to the whole situation with Mexico and the 2 major earthquakes in about 2 weeks' time, one of which happens on an anniversary, some 35 years later. What do you guys think? This is something that I found interesting. The first major earthquake that they had 2 weeks ago was on the southern tip of Mexico. Actually, it was off the coast of the southern tip. Flash forward almost 2 weeks. Now we're almost into the center of Mexico, and we have a second large earthquake. So this thing, it is as if you had the plates shift at the south that transferred energy northward, and you had another earthquake because
Joe. You sound like you've been reading books. Shoot.
All right. Okay. Anyway, does it not stand to reason that this is going to continue moving north, and how long before it hits the San Andreas and triggers the big one that they've been predicting now that they say we are 60 years overdue for?
Okay, a couple of things.
Okay.
It's going to hit that rock movie?
What?
San Andreas?
Oh,
It's going to hit
brother.
that video game? You know the Ring of Fire, right?
Yes.
So there's probably more earthquakes that we're not being told about, because there's earthquakes every single day, all the way down the coast of South America, all the way around, all that stuff, all the way back up and around the north. And there have been some all around that whole space. So yes, that shift is definitely going to cause pressure. But anybody in California knows that we are way overdue.
Yeah, again, to the tune of 60 years, because apparently, based on records, we have a large, read as magnitude 7.0 or greater, every 100 years. We're now 160 years out since the last major earthquake in the Southern California area.
By God's grace.
So who here is actually prepared?
I am
For
totally
people
not
who
prepared.
don't know what he's talking about, there's a picture of the quote-unquote Ring of Fire.
Oh, okay. Where can they get to that?
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen right now. Okay, fantastic.
Ooh, very interesting.
Oh.
So yeah, basically the Pacific Ocean is just a hotbed of craziness.
That's where Tonga is.
Great.
Okay. And then you have like all the volcanic activity. That's Mount St. Helens, all those volcanoes, all that stuff runs along there. Like the worst thing that could happen is that earthquake, Mount St. Helens, or Yellowstone. Any of those 3 things happen in the
Well,
U.S.
you know what?
it's a done deal.
They have called the eruption of the dormant volcano that is Yellowstone. They are calling that a global killer. They're saying if that thing ever erupts again, we'll have basically the same thing as a nuclear winter. It will block out the sun from the Earth for so long that most of the life on our planet will die if that thing ever goes off.
Kelly says she doesn't have earthquake insurance, but she does have a zombie kit. I mean, earthquake kit.
What does that consist of? A 12-gauge shotgun with, like, silver pellets or something?
No, you don't need silver pellets for zombies. A good baseball bat will do the job.
Really?
Depending on the number of zombies.
I thought they'd just get back up again. If you knock their head off, they just get back up and pick it up again.
Crack deep.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
destroy the brain or sever the head.
I
Yeah,
see.
put your back
Kill
into
a
it, man.
zombie.
You can't be like, hey, zombie, stop.
I'm going to
Hey.
stick with my 12
Cut it
gauge.
out,
But anyway,
zombie.
because I like being more of a
range.
distance. Yeah,
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're not earthquake
And honestly,
prepared at all.
if you do have the 12 gauge, it's good for more than zombies.
That's true. But
That's
you're
good for
Putting that out there.
earthquake preparedness.
Yeah, if
Well, what
you,
about
if
you,
you weren't
Todd?
prepared, you can get prepared
Are you
real
earthquake
fast with
prepared?
the 12
Do you have water, food supplies, even battery, anything laid in?
I think I might have a case of water left over from a birthday party that we threw.
All right. So this
Like right
begs the
now,
question.
Joe, literally my earthquake kit right now consists of that half cup of soda and these pretzels right here.
And the sandwich
that's it,
from
bro.
Safeway.
Yeah, that's it.
So if it happens right now, you're prepared for the next.
if it happens
6
right now,
minutes.
I'm assuming that you're prepared.
Yeah, because he's a nervous eater. He just, oh my God, there's been an earthquake. Oh, rats, I ate all my rations.
Yeah, that's probably how it would go down, and I probably get food poisoning.
Yeah, that too. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what we have in the zombie/earthquake kit.
considering
It's
that.
a few essential supplies. You have like a pry bar. You have like it's actually in a bucket, and then the bucket has a removable toilet seat, so the bucket doubles as a bathroom.
That's genius.
That's
Boom.
great. So the fact is that the vast majority of Southern Californians are actually not prepared for the earthquake. And that seems to suggest that nobody is actually taking the threat seriously.
Well, part of the reason for that is they're not being told to take the threat seriously. They
what do you
only
mean
talk
they're not being told?
Well, no,
they've been saying the big one's coming for I don't know how many. Since I was a kid, they've
Yeah,
been
but
talking about
nobody's
this
that
thing.
Exactly.
They've
How
been
long are we
saying
supposed
that.
to wait?
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about generally in the media, they only talk about it. Well, they're talking about it now because we're coming up on the Great California Shakeout, where once a year all these places do this simulated thing
Which means,
and to figure out how prepared
that
they
at
are.
least once a year they talk about becoming earthquake
but
prepared.
even with that, you're just talking about the public agencies. A lot of private people, when you're living in a society where most people don't even know their neighbor's name, it's going to take on a whole different look when that quake hits. And if it's like a 7, or even if you get a strong enough 6, it's going to get pretty feral out there in a
But
lot of places.
California
man.
has such good building codes that they're made to withstand quite a bit of shaking.
well,
You get an 8, man.
you
well,
know,
yeah, at a certain point, there's no amount of.
here's the thing about
strap
that.
downs.
All of our earthquake codes, our building codes relative to earthquakes, are basically a learned experience. Okay, they build something, we have an earthquake and it falls down, they go, oh, shoot, that didn't work, let's try this over here, and then they put something up and then we get another big earthquake and oh, look at that, it had a couple of cracks, all right, maybe we should try reinforcing this over here, we'll change that design a little bit. Every earthquake is different. And yes, we've come a long way since 160 years ago when it comes to building things. But let's go back to Los Angeles's infrastructure that is crumbling right now, where you're seeing water main breaks all the time.
Yeah.
And it is possible that those are being precipitated by small earthquakes that we don't even feel.
But it's not even
But-
necessarily small earthquakes, just the shifts in the ground movement.
Well, that's an earthquake.
No, I mean like the slow and steady shift.
Yeah,
Earthquake is when you get the quick shatter.
That's
No,
called
it's
an
still
earthquake.
it's still an earthquake. It's just not a big one.
No,
My
I'm talking
point
about
being,
like over a period of like 50 years, it shifts an inch.
If-
That's not an earthquake.
well, so all right, though, just the movement of the tectonic plates. All right, we'll go with that. But-
Kelly has a quick question.
Uh-huh.
Is earthquake insurance worth it? Joe, you dabbled in insurance.
you
Who
know
are
what?
you going to call when there's no state left?
Well, but that becomes an issue for the federal government to back up.
And we see how well they handled Katrina or the 2 recent hurricanes.
You know what? Something is better than nothing. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and say I think earthquake insurance is probably not a bad idea. If
I
you're
think
a
for the
homeowner.
amount of money you spend on earthquake insurance, if you put that in shotgun shells, you're good.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, and this is the ironic thing about this whole situation. If you're a homeowner and you have a mortgage and there's a big earthquake and your home gets reduced to matchsticks, the mortgage company's still going to come at you every month wanting their payment.
Yeah, it's not their fault your ish blew down.
Exactly. So, I mean, the only, I think, yes, I think,
Tell them the same people
Earthquake
I tell the
insurance.
student loan folks, like, good luck.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What, I'm supposed to
That's what
miraculously
I'm-
make money appear?
That's what I was wondering about if what's going on in Florida right now and all up and down where Irma was hitting and whatnot. Like, how long is it going to take for some of these places to actually get rebuilt?
oh,
Some of them
you're
don't get
at
rebuilt.
least 10 years out,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure.
gonna be
The
years.
last huge one was probably Andrew was the last big one that really just decimated Florida. That was
That's-
back in what, the
yeah,
80s
that's why I
or
wonder
90s?
sometimes if
Some of those cities just don't come back.
Yeah.
Like the smaller neighborhoods, some of them just don't come back.
yeah, would it be a good idea if, say, anyone with a handy type person, could they load up a U-Haul truck with a bunch of junk, a bunch of 2x4s and whatnot, and go down to Florida and start gouging people? I mean,
I suppose people could do
Well,
that,
that
and
happens.
they probably do.
That
but see, now
happens.
here's the other thing about that is, if all of those geologists and climatologists are right, and they're talking about global warming and the fact that our climate is actually changing, we're going to be seeing a lot more of these hurricanes and other things, probably earthquakes too. So,
Well, here's the last
what
thing.
point do you just say, you know what, I'm moving out of Southern California, or I'm leaving Florida, and I'm going to the middle of the country somewhere?
To that point, here's the last thing that I will say.
Okay,
Because
well,
the-
that's a lie right
well,
there.
no,
This, you
the,
never,
the
there's
Native
never a last
Americans
word.
had it right. They basically had whatever their structure was for the ones that were more nomadic. You had your they call them teepees, but whatever the term is. A lot of people have way more than they need, and they get so married to their home or to their property. Like, how many of us have storage units full of junk that we haven't looked at in
I got a
years?
garage full of junk,
that we
but
haven't
anyway.
looked at in years. And when an earthquake hits, you really feel the need to go and categorize all that for your insurance purposes, you should probably just get rid of most of that stuff. People don't need most of the stuff they have. You need to make sure your family's got food and water. In fact, if you're going to have a house, fill a whole room with water if you're really serious about it, instead of having a room dedicated.
That way, when the
to
earthquake
something
happens,
else.
you can get crushed under it's like 8 pounds to the gallon. So when those things all fall down on you,
it's in a
or your home will
different
get
room.
flooded. That'll be ironic.
They're like, how did this guy drown in an earthquake?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this on Around Midnight.